Loktar, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another work mode workout. And yes, today's going to look very different from my normal format. I recorded the best I could yesterday once it was sunny enough outside to get any light, because I didn't know what my schedule was going to look like for the day, how I was going to feel. It was freezing cold inside my place. Power has just now come up. I lost power for about 22 hours approximately, maybe 24. And so I decided to just come in and not do a max and just go to rep work. And again, just see how it all felt given the environment. I am not used to training in the cold anymore. I know people are like, we used to train outside in the UK and sweats and stuff sometimes, but that was many years ago. That was 7 years ago. So I'm not used to it. I'm used to it being sweltering hot. That's one reason I'm always in the shorts, is that I get so sweaty in a shirt. It's just not worth it to me to mess up that many shirts all the time. So it's one of the reasons I went over to just training in minimal clothing. So again, just getting used to the different environment again. But I started with 3 sets of 10 on floor presses. I only went with 215, although the last set I realized it was pretty easy. I was able to bang out extra reps. And I did these straight legs, so there's no cheating. And I think what I'm going to mess with moving forward, I'm starting to kind of get a groove of what I need now that my shoulder is feeling better. We're building back up. I may go ahead and do a normal bench like this with the same grip and do rep work on it for my 10s, incline, and an overhead press and variations. And I may end up replacing overhead with dips here and there. But I think that's going to possibly give me what I need at this point as far as building everything up. And again, as I've always said, I'm stronger at close grip, but if I can end up getting decently strong at the slightly wider grip, meaning pinkies on the rings, which I consider normal grip, so I've given you guys a breakdown of the 5 grips before. If I can get that decently strong, and if my close grip is still stronger, then my close grip will be my PRs. Close grip will be what I compete with. But again, we're going through a whole pressing rebuilding contest, or not contest. You guys know what I'm saying. It is still freezing cold in here. So I have power back up. I'm doing this at like 4 in the morning right now. I have power back up, but they haven't put the heat back on yet for these condos. So I don't know if I'm going to be forced to bundle up again today when I train. I'm hoping that we keep power. I've got my Instapot going right now, cooking food. I haven't had hot food in a day because everything was closed near me. We had no street lights working. All the places are closed. Costco is closed. All the restaurants nearby seem to be closed. And so I came back in because I got myself wrapped up and went out there. This is, by the way, yesterday, the day this was being filmed, was the coldest day in Houston in 32 years. So people who say, well, what happened? Well, Texas and Houston do not have an infrastructure to deal with cold. Okay, and people can go read on the news whatever they want. There's a lot of info out there as to what happened. But we lost multiple sources of energy. Like all the turbines out here froze. The wind turbines, we lost a big chunk of our natural gas. And because this is record cold, everyone in the entire state cranked their heater way up. And they just did not have enough heat or electricity resources to get anything done, to handle it. So my area was selected for major blackouts, which is surprising given where I live. And it goes to show they don't show preference, because I'm literally 2 blocks from River Oaks, and all the houses there are several $1 million. It's walking distance from me. But this whole area got shut down. For the rows, though, I went with 245, and these went fairly good. Okay, 245 for 10, so I'm bringing the weight up. Went 5 pounds up from last time, and it gave me a nice little even plate to work with, so I can use a red plate and a blue plate. But yeah, 245 for 10, so the rows are coming along very well. And I think what I'm probably going to do is settle in with just these and in the inverted rows for now. I feel like, again, with the shoulder health and everything, I may not need the snatch grip high pulls at the moment. I don't need the extra standing work if I can avoid it. So you guys will kind of see what I'm going to do with all this. But I could have days where, if the grip strength continues to be an issue on the deadlifts, I might start rotating some axle bar rows in place of those. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the grip. But again, I'm kind of had downtime yesterday with minimal outside contact, just my phone, trying to help clients the best I could. So I'm going to be spending a good chunk of the day back and forth trying to help clients and keep everything flowing there. Oh, incline. We went with 155 on a wider grip. I went and took the grip out wide too to see if I could handle it. And I was going to go up to 160 today with the closer grip, but the 155 is what I went with because I'm not used to this wider grip. Now, it didn't feel particularly great, but it's also because my chest just in general doesn't like the wide grip stuff. But I've also hit a decent PR on incline before I took it out with this. So as we build it back up, I think I may go ahead and do this and work with flat benching with this grip and incline benching with this grip as primary chest builders for a bit. And again, notice all the reps are paused. And on the third set, I ended up pushing it beyond 10. So it ended up being something like 12 reps or 13 or whatever I got. I didn't count. I just got the 10 and realized I could do more reps. So again, relatively happy with this. We'll keep adding weight to this. I'll probably try to keep adding 5 pounds every time. But yeah, this is definitely different. I'm not used to at this point right now training in the cold. Not used to wearing this much clothes when training. So it all felt different. So I'm happy that even all this supplemental work went good. And we'll see how today goes. Even if it ends up being cold inside again and they don't get the heat back up, I'm going to go ahead and do some maxes today. I think I'm going to try to max on a good morning, probably see if I can PR the safety squat bar, and then do again a mid shin rack pull, but I'll probably do it off a number 5 pin instead of the 4 and use a stiff bar instead of a deadlift bar. So that's probably what I'll try to do today. Hit a couple of training maxes, maybe PR the safety squat bar good morning. But incline, these were a little harder because I'm wearing all this layered clothing. I had a little trouble getting the chains to where they didn't slip. Was one of the harder things to try to do today. So again, obviously I clipped some of that in and out of me trying to drag all those chains on and off just for brevity's sake. But yeah, the supine grip incline rows. And on some of these I ended up getting 11. And one of them definitely, I think the second set, the chain slid off. One of them did, and I had to reset it. So I went ahead and finished out the set and picked up an extra rep. And I think I might have done the same on the last set. And those were pretty much to failure. But again, I like this lift. It feels good. I don't like setting it up. Part of me would just say I could just do more rows. But again, it gives me great bicep activation. A lot of lat involvement. For me, this really hits the same muscles I hit on a chin up because it gives a little less upper back with the underhand grip and a little more lat. So it feels very similar to a chin up to me, other than it doesn't put the stress on my shoulders that the deep stretch overhead does. So for me, it's a suitable replacement. I mean, if I had the shoulder ability to do chin ups, I could easily throw them in this slot, but I'm not going to risk re-injuring my shoulder now that I have it working again and everything's mobile and I can use it. I don't want to risk re-injuring it because it was chin-ups and pull-ups that did it. And if I've had people say, well, was it from lifting heavy? No, it was high rep sets that caused the original injuries. Because again, but that's neither here nor there, too long of a story. So after that, I went over and did some seated overhead press. Now I did notice on these, the shoulder was making the sound clicking again. It had gone away. Previously, I'd gotten to where I could finally do overhead without the sound, but today it was back. So that means that if I go a few days or even a week without doing a certain movement that my shoulder has readapted to, it seems to get slightly stiff through those ranges of motion. So I probably need to keep an overhead press in. Part of me is like, I don't know if I want to, but my shoulder was feeling really good doing these once I got used to it. And it quit making the clicking sound all the way up. And now that it's back, it's telling me that these are things I have to do just to continue to have the range of motion I want in my shoulders. And yes, I'm aware that even my range of motion on this is not phenomenal. But again, the shoulder history there. And, I didn't always have those problems. That's something to keep in mind. I actually had a friend tell me, well, my shoulder health is great. He's in his 20s, so he's like, and I can do all these behind the neck presses. I'm like, I could do behind the neck push presses and behind the neck presses when I was in my 20s also. It's like, oh. So The problem is that, yeah, things change in my shoulders. And I think a lot of it just had to do with me getting imbalanced rear delts. Which is one reason I'm going to include the more and more rear delt work, which is something I've been focusing on really heavy. That's been the best thing I've done for shoulder rehab. Out of everything that I've done to help with my shoulders, the most effective thing so far has been doing rear delt work. By far. Which is just normal hypertrophy exercises. Then I did JM presses. Notice I went light, and I did them as a true JM press. Okay. And, interestingly enough, they hammered my triceps. Hey, this is only 75 pounds. It really is nothing. But it hit my triceps, and I think I may rotate with these, rotate between maybe chains and reverse bands or chains and bands, just to get some variation in there. Again, just for elbow health purposes. But I'm going to push my JMs up because you know what? What's one of the perks of being a coach with as many lifters as I have? You guys have seen what a bunch of my guys can do, and that's certainly not all of them. You guys have seen it. It got well over 6,000 views. Okay, you guys know what I'm doing with my clients. Well, some of my really strong pressers who have big triceps, I have them do tons of JM presses. Like you guys saw Mikey. Look at Mikey's triceps. Mikey's got big arms. He thrives on JM presses. That's all we ever do for his triceps. We don't do anything else. We spend a lot more time on his chest because he's always had a good tricep dominance. But he can just crank out reps with pretty good weight on those JM presses. They work well for him. So I think I need to mess with them again for a while and try to do them correct. Instead of my other tricep exercise, which is fun and everything, I want to try to do these correct way, especially if I'm going to be going back to normal benching. Because the way I do them also puts a little strain on the shoulder. I don't want the extra stress on the shoulder. But I was happy with these. You know, even with 75 pounds, my triceps got worked hard. I felt a ton of tricep, and I did feel that medial head. So again, even though I'm forced to use a lighter weight because I just need to get my triceps stronger, I was very, very happy with the way these turned out. And also to finish up, you guys will see at the end, I recorded 2 of my sets of reverse flies. Is this the first time I've gone this heavy with them? I'm like, well, let me just get it on camera because I don't even know what it looks like when I do them. Because I started out with 5-pound plate. Actually, I started with a 2.5-pound plate. And every time I got up to where I could do more than 40 reps, I added 5 pounds. So then I went to a 10. Then I went to a 10 and a 5 in each hand, just using the plates to do them with. But today I decided, let me go ahead and try the 25-pound dumbbells, because I got to where the other day I did the 15 pounds for sets of 40 plus. I hit 40 reps on all of them before I reached failure. So I'm like, well, another 10-pound jump, because it'd be too hard for me to try to pinch 2 10s together the way I was doing them. Plus I don't have enough small ones. So I kind of did, after each set of hammer curls, I went ahead and did them. So I'll continue to probably do hammer curls for a bit, although I might implement some strict curls. But I need a little bit of extra bicep work. And I feel like right now that the hammer curls are going to bring a lot, because again, that can sometimes be a weak link on my rowing, the brachialis and everything, and bicep. So again, that'll keep my rowing strong, give me a little bit of extra bicep work, but the hammer curl can help with grip. Grip is a weak link. So if I go over and mess with some axle bar pin lays or some other pin lay rows instead of the underhand grip stuff, I'll definitely go over to the strict curls. But I think right now the hammer curls work really well. And then of course I do 2 of my sets of reverse flies, or rear delt flies, I think that's what we can call them, in between, just so that I could see what they look like and then my audience see what they look like. And my range of motion's not super amazing on them. I'm just going up as far up as I can. And again, it's not as super strict as it was when I was using really light plates, but that's fine because it's still hammering my rear delts and rhomboids and infraspinatus, which is really what we need. I need that part of my back and shoulder girdle to come up for overall health, for overall balance. And so again, these will be a mainstay, and I may go ahead and just do them on camera. And then people can claim I'm not training off camera, because people always say that, well, you don't do all your training on camera. Well, now it'll be not just my abs are the only thing I don't do. And my ab work is boring to watch. You guys don't want to watch me do hundreds of reps of band crunches, right? Because usually one set is roughly 100 reps, even with a heavy band. But again, these actually light that area up. And it was a little different because I'm using a heavier weight than normal. using the 25s, and that's the only pair of dumbbells I have. And it's just not worth it trying to acquire other dumbbells. You know, people are like, well, you can get dumbbells. It's, yeah, for $700, I can have a little bit of dumbbell adjustment. That's ridiculous. And it doesn't matter that I've spent a fortune in my gym already. To me, it just doesn't seem like a good use of money. Just doesn't seem like a good use of money. You know, because even with the hammer curls, I could always go back over and use my other bar for that, my multi-grip bar. Right? I could do that easily. Wouldn't be a problem. But the workout, all things considered, the circumstances, happy to have even got it done. I'm really happy that it's even visible. I was extremely worried this footage was not going to be visible, but it is. So that's a good thing. Because again, as I was recording, it looked darker in there. And yes, I have candles in there too. They're just slightly off camera. So I've got candles in the room, got the windows open, the curtains open, which I don't normally do. Not like there was much going on out there, and it was all iced up anyways. Normally it's because I should respect my privacy. I don't want people in here watching me train from outside. Because again, people are nosy. And that one window is an open street. I've got steel bars over it, but it is facing the parking lot in the street. So, you know, anyone who comes by, they're watching me train. And I don't need nosy people peeking in, so I keep everything closed up. Today was the exception. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative and enjoyable, and I will talk to you guys next time.